Alive.
WP Bosses, episode 6. We're talking page building, and we've got Cath Beaton here to do a bit of a round table discussion, though it's not technically a round table because we're all at different tables. And anyway, let's introduce everyone. Tracey, who are you?
I'm Tracey Kemp from Get Web Creative, based on the Gold Coast. I do WordPress development, and my page builder of choice is Beaver Builder.
Ooh.
Although I have used
Awesome.
Divi Builder as well, and Divi
Who are
Theme.
you?
Wow.
Yeah, Paul.
Oh, is it my turn? I
Yeah.
didn't hear the.
Paul?
I didn't hear the my cue.
Who?
There you go. Hi, I'm Paul Luxford from Gold Coast Business Websites and WP Genie, front-end WordPress developer on the Gold Coast, and providing WordPress website support for the many WordPress users out there. It's me.
Awesome. Cath, who are you?
Hey, I'm Cath, funnily enough. My name's Cath. I run Phase Creative, which is a small web design development agency in Sydney. I also teach WordPress to DIYers and newbies, and I'm a coach at WP Elevation, teaching other WordPress people how to do good business in WordPress things. So I'm delighted to be here as a guest on your show, team, WP Bosses.
Welcome.
Cath. Did you have any meetup news, Tracey?
Did you introduce yourself?
No.
Oh, damn it, you noticed. Okay, I'm Robey Lawrence from Bearded Friend. I'm also currently in the Gold Coast. I build sites using the Divi theme and page builder. So I'll be talking a little bit about that. And today I'm joining you from a television. So that's kind of cool.
Robey and
Yeah.
WP.
Just can't change the channel.
Well, I'm sorry. Do you want to change the channel?
I want
Is
to.
that-
I just want to reach into the screen and just turn that knob. You know, that click that. Anyway. Does anybody else want to? Anyway, is that just me? That's just me.
Is that no?
Oh, you're now like black and white. Wow, cool.
Anyway, sorry, playing with toys. Meetup news?
Meetup news. Okay, there's actually quite a few in the next week. September 4th, WordPress Perth Meetup, building a profitable WordPress business. That sounds pretty good. And Toowoomba's having one on September 7th, and their topic is about content. Sorry, let me see. Sorry, I forgot to look at theirs. They don't actually have a topic at the moment. It's just a general get together and talking about WordPress. Also on the 7th, there's Sunshine Coast Meetup, and Talia will be teaching everyone how to integrate MailChimp with WordPress in the user meetup. Now, they have a developer meetup as well, and Cameron Jones, who we've had on WP Bosses before, will be talking about the WordPress 4.6 release and the customizer. And then Wednesday, sorry, the 7th as well, there's a meetup in Ringwood in Melbourne. No topic set for that one. And Thursday the 8th, Brisbane meetup, where Andy Henderson will be talking about website in a day. Now, I believe he's also doing that talk at WordCamp Sydney at the end of the month, so that should be a good little preview. Also on the 8th, on Thursday, North Sydney meetup. They haven't set a topic yet. So that's it for the meetups for the week.
Let's go to Meetups this
More
week.
info at wpbosses.com.au or on meetup.com.
Exactly. That's a lot of. I think last time we had like one.
That's huge.
Meetup?
That's heaps for
Anyway, yeah.
a
That's
week.
awesome.
All Sunshine Coast now have users and developers on the same night.
What's that?
Sunshine Coast now have users and developers the same night. Groups. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
2 tracks.
Yeah, cool. Website health tips.
I do. I just wanted to keep it simple tonight because my previous ones I can kind of get a little bit technical and start rattling off codes and short codes and functions and all that stuff, and I just want to keep it really simple tonight. So my tip for tonight is, and this is a bit of a bugbear for me because I inherit websites from other people. And other developers, taking on clients for WP Genie, and I see a lot of plugins that are just sitting in the plugin list that are not used. Like they're just sort of so we generally just go through and clean all that stuff up that aren't being used, and also theme files or themes that are installed but aren't being used. We cull those as well. So I guess my tip is have a look at your own site and go through your themes and see if you've got a whole long list of them that you're not using. Obviously, you'd only have one theme that's activated, so and maybe hopefully a child theme as well. Don't get rid of that, or don't get rid of the parent theme. But yeah, just basically get rid of the themes you're not using, and also do an audit check on your plugins as well, and get rid of those. Even though they're not activated, they can also pose a security risk, and plus it's also something that you need to continue to update as well. And why do you need to sort of use further server resources to update plugins that you don't use? So that's my tip for tonight. Hope that helps.
Can I add to that quickly? Before
Please
you do
do.
those, to do a
Yes.
make sure you do a restorable backup before you do the deleting, just in case.
Indeed.
Pro tip on your pro tips.
That's
Yes.
a great tip, Paul. I had a client a few weeks ago that actually got hacked through a whole bunch of themes that were just sitting in his themes folder that weren't being used, and they were out of date, and I think gotten from a dodgy source, and it took down his whole site. So yeah,
Yeah.
get rid of them, and don't get themes from dodgy sources in the first place.
Yeah.
It's a good time, being the beginning of spring now, do some spring cleaning on your website. So that was very appropriate. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, and thank you, Cath, for throwing that. Everybody should be backing up their sites as well, so on a regular basis. That's really important. So thanks, Cath.
Yeah. A plugin that I haven't really tested yet, but it's only come out a week ago, I believe. It's called Automatic Alternative Text.
Ooh.
And what it does is, you may have seen online already, Google and Facebook are kind of doing it where they try to get the subject of the image. So it might be, this photo is of 4 people smiling. Or it might be able to tell if this is a coffee cup sitting on a desk or something. And so what this plugin does is it uses those APIs and tries to smartly figure out what is in the images, and then it creates alternative text based on that.
Cool.
So where this is really cool is for accessibility. So if you don't add any other alternative text, a blind person is looking at a website and they're using a screen reader. The screen reader will now read the alternative text for those images and describe. So, yeah, I'm keen to give it a try. I'll just be clear that it's not really for SEO purposes. If you probably want to add alternative text based on your own brand and everything else manually for the SEO reasons, but yeah, so it's called Automatic Alternative Text.
Cool.
By Cath Beaton. Yeah.
Does it allow you to edit it once it's kind of autoed it? Technical terms to know.
That's automatic alternative text makes accessible images easy and fast by automatically generating alt text for images with Microsoft's Cognitive Services Computer Vision API.
Cool. I would love for you to take a screen grab of yourself in a TV and upload that on the WP Boss's site and see what the alternative. I'm hoping.
There's a challenge for you.
Yeah.
Bearded man in television screen.
Yeah, no, that's good. I'll try it, and I'll let you know what it thinks.
That's cool, man. I'll check that one out too. I spend a lot of time educating people on alt text, not just for SEO purposes, but also for accessibility purposes, and knowing how screen readers work and how people use accessibility tools. Having information on images is really helpful and almost vital for people who don't have the ability to see. So I think it's good. I'll give it a crack.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with technology advancing so much these days, like Google listening to everything you say, trying to read everything, and all the. So there's what's Google's voice name? Does it have a name? Apple is Siri. Microsoft has Cortana, and Google is.
My son just says her name is Google, Mummy. There you go.
Google Mummy.
No. Like, as in, my son has that it's a chick, and her name is Google. Google knows everything. We must ask Google about what's inside my eye, Mummy. Giving Google a personality type. Another test for your automatic alternative text would be the blue/gold dress. To see what it comes up.
Yeah.
With. The ultimate, is it blue or is it gold? Sorry.
No, that's a really good test.
All right. On with the show.
On with the show. Page builders. So my page builder of choice has been Divi. Tracey said Beaver Builder. Or what's your page builder of choice at the moment?
I'm up there with you on Divi at the moment. I've tried several, and I'm pretty much a Divi fan as well, and I'm looking forward to 3.0 coming out, which will, that's where I sit with that.
Yeah, cool. And Cath, are you?
Yes. So
what's your?
I've worked with Divi, and I do work with Divi on certain sites, but I am a Beaver Builder kind of girl. I've been really happy with how it's evolved really quickly in the last year or so, and how much I can do with it. So that's my pick at the moment. That's the one I use at the moment. But I've used them all.
Yeah, cool. Let's Someone asked a question before the show that was just a really generic question. What did we used to do before page builders?
Okay. Can I jump in and talk about this a little bit? Because I'm a designer by sort of trade, I guess is the better word, is that's one of my strengths, and very much in user experience as well. So I have spent a lot of time building sites that have custom layouts for key pages, and generally the way that I've had to achieve these things is using custom design templates within my theme. So I use the Genesis theme framework. So custom templates within my child theme, and often using ACF for fields and things like that when there's repetitive uses of those templates. So quite laborious and quite expensive for someone who generally outsources the development of those templates. Generally speaking, even if it's a one-off page, if it's even remotely complicated and doesn't sort of fit in, a nice column layout or something like that, I have had to have templates coded up. So that was sort of where I'm coming from before page builder of choice.
I'm from the opposite of that. I'm not so much a designer, but more of a developer. So I was actually coding everything from scratch, and just custom templates and things like that. And it was taking a long time. I use the Genesis framework as well, but before I even used the Genesis framework, I was coding custom themes, and I found that it was very laborious, and it was very flexible, and you could control every aspect of it. It was certainly not, probably not as profitable, actually, because, I think a lot of clients just don't have the budget for that kind of development. I think big projects, big companies, I would definitely still continue to do that. But for small businesses and things like that, switching over to using a page builder and still using the Genesis framework has really shortened the development time on those things. So it's interesting, Cath, that you're coming from the designer side of things, and it's provided the same benefits.
Yeah. So one of those, I guess also, maybe one of the reasons that I was seeking out a page builder that I could actually see some value in for me and my customers was because I was, still having clients come to me going, oh, do I choose Squarespace, or do I choose WordPress, or do I choose Wix? And obviously Wix was an easy no-brainer, don't go near it. But Squarespace I'd had experience with, and honestly, it was easy to build different looking pages out pretty quickly using Squarespace. And I couldn't give them that. I couldn't say, I would have to say, oh yeah, but if we want a page that's, custom layout and some control over that looking consistent for every page that uses that, layout, we would need to be building templates, and that would cost X amount per template that we had to code up. And they couldn't quite get it. They couldn't understand why one platform does it really easy and why everyone talks about WordPress, but why can't we do this in WordPress? And it's like, you can. And what I ended up coming back to is, if you want all those fancy layouts, you would need to buy a theme that had them already pre-built. And so, so I guess coming into this page builder space, those obstacles had to come together because my business was going to start to going to have to change significantly the way that we did things in order to still be able to add value to the clients.
And so when you hand over a site that you've used Beaver Builder on to build the layouts, does the end client have control over the layouts then? Can they go and tweak it and play around with it and move modules here and there?
I always build websites with a design in mind. So I don't design in screen. I know that a lot of people do, but if you know me, you'll know that I'm quite particular about the design side of things, and I do get everything signed off from a Photoshop file before we design, before we enter the browser. But what I find is that most clients don't struggle so much with putting content on the page if you've given them an advice or a template or something to use that they can replicate. So rarely do I actually have customers who try and design things, and I try and dissuade them from that anyway. It's like they're there to be a user of their website. They're not there to be a developer or a designer of their website. If they wanted to do that, they could have done it themselves. But when they've invested in a company who specializes in design and development, the less hands-on they are when it comes to the way that the pages look, the better. So I discourage it. But, for my DIY clients, and this is the other side of things where they have come to me and they want to do it, having a page builder to show them quickly how to use and tell them where to get videos and things like that, that is a situation where I'm happy to let them go for it and see what they come up with, because that's what they're asking for.
Yeah, there's really two main ways, or two main uses of page builders, which is, well, there might be more, but this is just what's come to mind. Like a lot of people use them as like a selling point to their end customer and say, look, I'm going to use this page builder. So then when I hand it over to you, you've got all this control over the layout and everything. And then you can, go and do what you would have done in Squarespace or whatever. I haven't actually done it that way in the past. I actually use it for myself to speed up the process, like Tracey was talking, rather than making all the custom PHP templates and everything. And using Divi and a couple of third-party plugins, you can actually build a layout in the page builder yourself and populate the content from custom fields or other areas of the site. Use it as enter it in the Divi library, and then use it for, say, a custom post type archive page or any other of these PHP template pages. And all of the content is being pulled in via shortcodes into the modules.
Yeah.
I'm planning to write a bit of a tutorial to explain it, because it's sounding a little bit complicated even as I'm saying it now, but that's kind of how I use it.
Yeah.
So the end client only has to enter in just the content, whether it's into the page editor or into custom fields or an options page. And then all of the design is already done by me using the page builder, just purely to save time on the development end. So that's...
And Robey, have you played around with making custom modules for Divi yourself? Like if you've got a section that doesn't quite fit into any of the available ones, is Divi easy to customize? Create
I haven't done it personally. I haven't actually had the need to do it myself, but a couple of the I mentioned I used a couple of third-party plugins, and apparently the developer said, yeah, they were pretty easy to do. And with Divi 3 is coming out shortly. Divi 3.1 is going to follow that, and Divi 3.1 is going to be the developer release, which is going to be a lot more open and friendly to developers. They're going to I think they're going to release their documentation on how to extend on top of the Divi page builder and build your own modules and that sort of thing.
I really like the approach of both the Divi and the Beaver builders, is that rather than trying to keep it this closed, mysterious awesomeness, they've actually allowed for a community to develop and sort of crowd build things that are needed on them. And I think that that's a benefit for both of those particular tools, is that they've got quite a good market share now of people using them, but they're not afraid to have the criticisms, to have the critique, and to have the feedback coming in about where they need to go and what their roadmap will be. I think that having an open approach to the software development has made people more more likely to jump on board, because A, they know that they're getting listened to, and B, they know that it is evolving and it is continuously being updated, it is being supported, and it is being kept up to date with the WordPress core, as much as possible. And I think that, whenever you've got a lot of people using something a lot of the time, you really need those communities to keep it alive and to keep it growing and to keep it evolving, and kind of not let there be any excuses for it to kind of fall behind.
Yeah, and it's a big thing to take responsibility for yourself as a company. So, like you said, like crowd building, like opening it up to crowd building, that just, it's a smart decision for these companies, because they've automatically got infinite amount of people working for them and improving their product, and you're pretty much crazy these days if you don't open yourself up for that kind of input.
Well, it minimises, as people who are using the software, it minimises the risk to me, because I know that even if, for instance, the original cast and crew of whatever software it is, for whatever reason, can't maintain it, that there's enough people using it that someone's going to be able to pick up and take it on board. So I think that that's really important, and that's why I chose, the framework that I chose to build WordPress on as well, my WordPress websites on as well. It's for the same reason, as that I'm not a developer. I need community around me in order to be able to make the right decisions for my clients about what software to use when I'm building their websites, and what third-party, processes and software I'm going to put on my sites, hoping and knowing, I guess, that they're going to be supported for the expected duration of a site's lifetime, if you like.
What's the community like around Beaver Builder?
Phenomenal.
Is there like
there's a couple of leaders, there's a couple of really enthusiasts. You still have your beginners going in. There's quite a few limitations with Beaver just at the moment that they know of and they're working on, and that they're working on because they're out there with their roadmap, and they're also listening to people. And I think, for the cost and for what it does, I think it's been a really consistently good, positive community, and it has grown quite, I think, slowly but organically, as people kind of pick it up and go, okay, well, there are a few options out there. What are the reasons for this one? And I think it's those community and the people who are building the little sort of extra modules and things for it that are keeping it with good momentum.
Yeah, there's a really great community with Beaver Builder. There's some really good Facebook groups, and there's some really good add-ons that have their own Facebook groups as well, and really encourage feedback and beta testers and and all that kind of stuff. It's really great. You really feel a part of it, and that you listen to, like Cath said.
Yeah, I mean, there's with all
Is
of
it
these.
through those third party? Is it through those third party plugins that you which is how you integrate custom fields and custom post types into Beaver Builder, or is that functionality built in?
Trace?
That's coming soon. It's on their roadmap. It's something that is probably their biggest limitation at the moment for mine. But I feel confident because I know they're working on it, and I know Core's working on it. I know there are some add-on developers that have solutions. Toolset is also integrated into it now, so if you are using Toolset, then you're kind of a step ahead. But it's really, that they know that that's what they need to focus on, and that they've indicated that they are focusing on it, and it's coming very soon.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting, actually, Trace, because I watch Divi, and obviously I use Divi on some of my sites, and they're up to date, so I know what's coming, and we keep our Divi builder sites, ticking along nicely. But I haven't jumped ship because there are two big limitations for me with Beaver Builder. One is the blog archive and the blog individual single posts. And the other one, as you said, is using it with custom fields and things like that. So those are the two things that I'm sort of hopeful that they're going to come around and get sorted really soon. I know that the single blog template's coming, I know, or ability to change that template is coming, because that's the big letdown at the moment. When I say letdown, I think it's just because we're so scrambling for more and more and more. But I guess because I am feeling, like you said, really confident that they're going to come up with the goods, and so I'm not running to jump ship yet, because I can still template up my single page, my blog page single. I've been doing that for the last 4 years. Why wouldn't we continue doing that? I think it's interesting how when you feel confident that a group is listening to you, that you will actually stick with it for longer.
Yeah. So I wonder if we should we talk about the differences between, we probably should mention what other page builders are out there and how they compare, but I guess given that we're talking about primarily Divi and Beaver Builder, for people that haven't used either, what are the differences? And in your experience, I think we've all used both of them, kind of to a point.
Should we talk about just the other ones and why they're being discarded quickly?
Yeah. Start with that.
Composer has been the dominant, and that's by someone baked. What is it? Theme Bakery or something?
Visual Bakery.
Apologies, Visual Bakery. I'm not trying to insult you. I have had infinite frustrations with that, because the amount of times that the updates have problems with, and it just being really, really slow, and the interface not being very intuitive, and it being overkill for most of my clients, and the amount of times I've had to sit down with people and sort of go, okay, so you want to learn Visual Composer. Okay, well, we'll have to set aside another couple of hours just for that component of your website, as opposed to me doing these 2-hour website sessions where I take them through their theme. If they have Visual Composer, I have to take another 2 hours, because the idea that they're designing it themselves when they think they were getting a theme that had everything in it just doesn't compute. And that's possibly in these cases some of the theme sellers' problem, but in many cases it's just because it isn't as intuitive as they would perhaps like to think it is. And I know people who swear by it, and I just found, for me personally, I found it frustrating, I found it unintuitive, and I found it slow. and it broke a lot. So there was a lot of JavaScript errors and instances where it just wouldn't show and things like that. So there's only so much frustration that you can kind of take before you go, okay, this isn't going to work for the average Joe who just wants a website. There isn't adding value to small business websites, in my opinion, at the time that I was using it. So that was why I nicked that one off. There's another couple of them. Is it Origin?
Site Origin.
Is that a page builder? So I've never used that one. Has anyone used that one?
Yeah, Nik actually uses that one, and it's actually fully controlled via widgets. So I found it a little bit limiting in that way. That yes, there's a whole bunch of widgets that they've created for their page builder, and yeah, I mean, it was pretty good. I mean, it's free. That's a bonus. It wasn't bad. It was quite good, but there were a few limitations, like no ability to save global, templates and things like that. At the time, I think I was trying to build a single page layer, a single page website, and you couldn't enter an ID field in to link from the menu, and so that was quite, like, you had to kind of put a code snippet in there, and then put an ID, the code for the ID in there just to link it, and it was just like, this is it's a bit limiting. So yeah. That's been really my only experience with that. Paul, what have you used that one? Have you used any others apart from Divi?
Yeah, so I've used.
There's roughly.
Sorry, you were.
Sorry, go Paul.
That's all right. I've used Visual Composer. Hate it to death. I've got to be honest, for all the reasons that Cath said. It's very bloaty. I've used Site Origin, and I've used it on a couple of sites, and I do find it's quite limiting, as what Tracey said. I've used Cornerstone, which packages with the X theme, but you can also get it as a standalone page builder. That's kind of more like what I guess it's not bad, but it's sort of like, it looks like the customizer type thing. You get the sort of screen down like the options bar down the side, and you sort of work in the visual sort of realm and drag elements around. But if you want to change text in an element, then you've got to change it in the sidebar rather than actually in the element itself. So that kind of peeves me off just a little bit. It's not bad though. It's okay. But again, it sort of opens up in its own window, and if you want to go back to the native page editor for any reason, you got to sort of exit out, and I don't know. I find it's a little bit clunky, but it's all right. It's not bad. I'll probably give it about a 6 out of 10.
Oh, ratings.
Maybe 6 out of 10. Visual Composer, probably give it a 3. That's probably being too generous. Anyway, not here to bag out any page builders or anything, but the other, I just tried another one recently called the Elementor plugin page builder. Anybody seen that? Heard of it?
No. How did it
It's
stack up?
New Kid on the Block. Me and Robey played around with it the other day. He made a nice little page with, what was it, chickens or something? Oh no, it was pigeons? Pigeons.
Pigeons and cakes.
Pigeons and cakes.
Yeah, pigeons and cakes.
So that kind of like, then it's sort of lending itself more towards what Divi's going to be like in 3.0, when, like, to be able to sort of click on a say a title and to be able to sort of edit it live, rather than clicking on it and then a modal window popping open, and then having to write stuff in there and then saving and then it's done. It's sort of going to be more, that's what Elementor is a little bit like. So you can sort of edit live and see what you're doing rather than, that sort of, it's pretty cool. I don't know, I'd sort of check it out, and you can throw it onto any theme as well, and it's free. So, and they're updating it all the time with new, add-ons, and so they're pretty quiet. It's not sort of up there with the same community aspect as what Beaver Builder and Divi have, but yeah, check it out if you want to play with something a bit different.
So obviously you've got, you can edit the actual content inline, but what about the settings and stuff for the module? Different options, colors, all that sort of stuff like that. How do they handle that?
Yeah, so this is for the Elementor one, isn't it? Yeah, so that's where it will be in the customizer. So so you just sort of select what you're working on, and then in the customizer sort of window on the side, you'll see the settings for that particular section. And you can do all sorts of stuff with it. It's pretty. I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. I was impressed with it when I was playing with it for a little bit. So, and I told Robey that I had fallen in love again with another page builder.
Oh, that's nice.
If anybody can fall in love with a page builder, But then Robey sort of said that was
page builder again.
He sort of didn't want to sort of go against Divi, so because he's like that with Divi, that Robey and Divi are like that. So yeah, anyway.
Love it first build.
Love it first page builder.
Can I just ask what your thoughts are? So one of the fundamental differences between Beaver Builder and Divi, and quite a few of the other ones, Visual Composer as well, is that Beaver Builder doesn't use shortcodes when you turn the page builder off. And I think that this is one of the reasons that quite a few of us have chosen Beaver Builder, because the content still gets sort of fairly well intact if you do for some reason turn the builder off. Now, it's not a good idea to turn these builders off. Generally, we accept that they do have a purpose, which is to build out a page. But it is nice to know that when you put something inside one of the modules, that it doesn't just disappear because you have used a builder. So, the content is still intact. It might just be plain text, but it's still there. How do you kind of deal with that? Or do you just accept that that's part of the platform that you use, Rob?
I'm glad you brought this up. I was going to if you didn't. I have a couple of stances on the shortcodes. Basically, I don't really care. The majority of sites that I build are for small businesses, or solopreneurs or freelancers, I guess you call them. And every one of their sites that I've received to build, I've just started from scratch. I'm not really keen on the idea of taking over from someone else's build, because I don't know what's under the bonnet. It's just much more efficient for me to just start from the beginning and do it my way. When I hand it off to the next client and then they go and find another developer down the track, the chances of them just taking my site and rebuilding, that's probably what they're going to do. And so the shortcodes don't really matter. Sorry?
I said it's fair call. I get it. Apologies, my son has just come in to tell me he wants to go to bed. It's for everybody's benefit. I think it's fair call. I think it's interesting. And generally speaking, if you are going to do a site rebuild, you are going to start from scratch to a point. I do get worried with some of the, you know, when shortcodes change, or when they do tend to do what they do every couple of years and like completely renovate a platform, and those shortcodes are no longer working, and so they kind of start appearing and popping up.
I haven't come across that at all with Divi.
Yeah.
So, like, if you have a look at the shortcodes, they still use like itpb, which is still from before Divi.
Yeah.
Elegant Themes had an Elegant Themes page builder as a standalone plugin.
Yeah.
And then along came Divi, and I'm pretty sure they continued to use those same shortcodes and classes and everything. Yeah. So as it's evolved, it hasn't changed at all.
There's a responsibility. There's a responsibility to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's been a few updates where things have moved around and paddings and margins might have changed, and they might have changed a couple of CSS classes. But for the most part, they've been pretty good with their forward compatibility or backward compatibility. The second point I was going to make about shortcodes is the way the other concern might be like exporting the content. If you're going to go and export a heap of pages and posts and stuff, a heap of shortcodes in your content. But that's one of the other reasons that I build things the way I do and use the page builder for myself and pull in the content into the page layouts using a plugin called Customs. So it pulls in all of the raw content from all the posts and pages that the client has pre-filled with their information. And so if they did have to go and export in the future, their content is unshort-coded, I guess you'd say. Yeah, so that's how I get around that issue if it was ever to come up.
No, I think it's good. I think it's just as long as the person who's building and kind of makes their clients understand that if they do move away or change themes or do something like that, which we hope that they won't because they've spent money on it, and getting someone to do it for them. But you know, that whole pick a theme, I'll just change my mind, isn't quite as easy. But I mean, I don't think it's easy with anything. Even if you were using Beaver Builder, the very best you're going to get is just to have the content there. It's still not going to be arranged or anything. So I don't think it's such a terrible thing. But it's just worthwhile noting as part of the talking about them.
Also, and the other thing too is all page builders are so flexible that even if you did want to change the entire layout of your site, it doesn't mean you have to remove Divi and install another theme or page builder. You can continue using, you can completely overhaul the layout and styling of your site because it's just they're all so flexible these days.
I think, and also you can change themes, but then install the Divi page builder standalone thing and the plugin. And I don't know what the conversion is like and how much you lose, or if you lose anything, but at least you can, you've got an option there for retaining all your work.
It's a good option. Very cool.
So what are the we're talking about all the great things about page builders, but what are the in what situations would you not use a page builder or recommend not using a page builder?
I don't use them on blog posts. I want my clients to be able to build a blog, like just bring in their feature image, just bring in their text, change the paragraph to the predetermined styles within the style sheet of the theme, put their images on the page, and push publish. I don't want them stuffing around trying to design their blog posts. So I definitely don't turn the page builders on for blog posts. And honestly, some small business websites, I think it can be overkill. Like if all you're trying to achieve is the odd column or, you know, a tab tool, but you've still got an essentially simple kind of design, I think that they can be overkill.
Mm.
And I think
what they're really good for, I think what they're really good for actually is landing pages. So if you're doing marketing campaigns and things like that, like when you're doing, say if you've got a small business who's got a bunch of services, I think I would still build those out as PHP templates. And like Cath said, you enter in the information, you upload the images, you upload into, probably use ACF, and there's the fields that they need to fill in, and every page looks the same. But if you're talking about doing marketing campaigns and, you know, things that you really want to have, you know, different designs every single time.
Yeah, or a whole site takeover kind of look for a
exactly
part of your website.
Exactly. I think that's where they really, I think that's where I started using them, and that's where I really discovered the benefits of them, and then started integrating them into the other parts of the site.
Yeah.
You know, it also gives the client, that's, I think, the sort of things that the clients really want to have control over sometimes.
I think they're really good for sites where you only have to do a custom layout once. Like there's only one instance of a particular layout on a website. Yeah. You don't want a custom coded template that's only going to be used once on a website, and you don't want to pay for that. No. Definitely for things where you've got custom post types and taxonomies, and, you know, you're doing filters and kind of cool stuff. I think that there's definitely a case for still using templates and custom fields and all of those kind of things, even using views and types and that combination. But I think for layouts where there's, like, you might have 10 different layouts on the website, but they only get used once or twice max on the website. So I might have a services page, I'm going to have an FAQ page, I'm going to have a page that that is sort of used like a springboard for my case studies, that's a little bit different to my blog. I want to be able to get those up quickly and not have to worry about telling my client no, because that's outside scope. I love that I can go, oh yeah, look, I'll put together something, how do you like the look of this? I love not saying no to customers for things that I know aren't going to take me like ages to build out, especially for those one-off pages like landing pages or whatever. I mean, I might be able to charge more for a landing page, absolutely, but knowing that I don't have to buy a third-party tool to enable that on the site is fantastic. And I don't have to buy a subdomain, which is also awesome. Like, you know how you have to sometimes buy like a subdomain, which is like event.mydomain.com.au. Well, now you can, you know, have its own landing page where you don't have to buy a subdomain that's just sitting on your website, because the page builders will allow you to make it look completely different to the rest of your page site.
Mm.
I think overall they just help to...
I don't know, I think...
Sorry, go on. You want to jump in? I was just going to say that I think overall that just helps with development. To be able to sort of load from pre-built templates and stuff like that, you can just it just helps with the workflow and speed a lot of things up. Like I typically I'm doing a lot of websites for the finance industry now, so we've got pretty much just like 4 pre-built websites that we direct our client, and they're all Divi that we direct our clients to, and then we just say pick one, and then they just choose one that they like, and then we tweak those, like we tweak it to sort of meet their design, their branding and stuff, and so it really they just really enable us to just make sites look amazing, and also make the work process a lot more seamless. So they just and people just get their websites a lot faster as well.
It's
Rather than,
business sense for both you and the client in that respect. Is that if you have pre-built for your niche the templates that you need and the layouts that you need using a page builder, you're delivering what they want and you're delivering it in a time frame, and therefore because of those things you can deliver it at a budget that's probably going to allow you to take on a larger volume of clients in a shorter amount of time. And I think that's clever, and it opens the doors for other innovative website companies to do the same and still be unique and innovative in their designs, but be able to tailor their services to what their customers actually need, and not in a laborious and custom way necessarily every single time.
I think that's, you've hit the nail on the head there, Cath. I think that's where I got to with my business. I felt like I was spending so much of the time and the budget doing design and development, where I actually think that that's doing my clients a disservice. I think they need to always recommend to my clients that they allow more of their budget for copywriting, planning, like doing this strategy, and then your marketing and SEO and all of that, automation and all these social media things. Like, the design and development it should be the smallest part of all that, because your website is just a tool, and you need to, your clients are running a business and they're using the website as a tool to achieve a goal. And if you don't get the strategy and planning, the copywriting and the post-launch stuff right, then they're not going to achieve their goals.
Yep.
So with page builders, I think it's really allowed the design and development budget to really shrink and allow the rest of it, the budget, to really increase. And I think that can only be a good thing for our clients.
I think so. Robes, you've cued us for any last words. And I was going to maybe pose a question as the guest, take over the end of your podcast and pose a question. And I have my answer to this, but I'm really curious to hear from each of you. If you had one thing that you could add to your preferred builder of choice, like to help your customers or to help you build more, or if there was what's your wish list item? We've mentioned a few of them, but I'm just curious if there's one thing that you kind of wish you could go, guys.
Well,
mine at the moment.
Go, Robey.
Cue Robey.
Mine at the moment, and I've considered about just doing it myself. Is I use video user manuals on all my sites.
Great product.
But the disconnect between that and Divi is there's no video library of how to use the Divi page builder. So that's my one thing, is a library of tutorial videos.
That's amazing. I think that's a good thing. They have that for Beaver Builder in video user manuals. Did you know that?
I did, and that's what prompted my idea.
I reckon that's not such a hard wish list item. I reckon you could probably hit some people up for something like that, to license it for that product. I think it would be a win-win. I might put a...
Yeah, I've just been V3 to come out, which is actually coming out in about a week from now.
Yeah. Paul, wish list item for Divi.
Who? What? Yeah. Okay. So I for the Divi theme, I think that specifically the Divi theme, I'm talking about with the builder, but more of a customizable header, something that you can actually do stuff with, like put a widget in there, or like you can do with Genesis Studio. They've got that header right widget area. You can put your phone number and stuff. But with Divi out of the box, you've just got a bunch of different options that are really kind of not that really wonderful.
It makes it look very similar to all the other pages. I mean, to all the other things out there. That header, it does constrain you a lot. I agree. Good one, Trace.
Well, without a doubt, my biggest thing would be integrating dynamic content. So say if you've got a custom post type of FAQs, or you've got a custom post type of testimonials, I want to go to Beaver Builder accordion module and integrate my custom post type into the FAQs.
Yep.
And I want to integrate, the testimonial module slider thing with my custom post type of testimonials. I don't want to have to re-enter all that information. I want more of a separation between design and content for certain aspects of the content.
Yep.
I really think that's where it's headed, and I know I've voiced these things in the Beaver Builder Facebook groups and have been told that that there are people working on solutions, and I think this is where Toolset is kind of coming close to dealing with this.
Yep.
But at this stage, I think it's very manual in editing content with those kind of things, and I think it's only a matter of time before there are solutions for that.
Yep. Cool. That's really interesting. Mine is I don't even know if it's possible. My wish list thing is to be able to I don't know, I think it is to do with the builder, because the builder is module based, but I think that I would like to be able to incorporate different schema markup, schema.org markup, because Google is increasingly Felix says hi. Google is increasingly hungry for more information, and while we use builders to incorporate a great design, we're leaving opportunities to tell people about the kind of content that is going on the page. So having some markup options around the modules that exist, such as the maps, and perhaps having things like a customer, address block and things like that, having schema around those items, and some options for more kind of clever markup of content would mean that there would be, and I guess it comes into using dynamic content and templates with these things as well, that I would be more likely to be using the content, the page builder elements on my pages. But quite a lot of the time I still hand code them, because I want to give some extra Google juice to them. So I don't even know if that's possible, but that's one thing I'm kind of hoping for.
I think that's possible. You just need to find the right person to code it.
Well, I think though that it could be an add-on to the builder, so that you're actually putting these blocks of logical content on the pages that you can then wrap that kind of thing around. But yeah, that's particularly around maps and addresses and things like that, which is becoming more and more important as you go along.
Yeah.
Robey.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for that last question, Cath. It was a good one. I think we can probably end it there. I don't have any last words outside of that. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's been fun, even on a Friday night, and you're probably getting the background sound of Temple Run at the moment, but it's been a pleasure, and I've got some ideas for you for other topics that came out of this one, which if I remember them on Monday, I'll tell you. But yeah, really like what you guys have been doing with this show, so thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for being a part of it.
It's great to have you.
Aww.
If anyone was to want to contact you, apart from your web address on your lower third,
My lower third.
where should we send them?
Oh, look, the best place is probably, /Phase Creative on Facebook, because I'm pretty vocal on there, or else Phase Creative on Twitter. Say hi.
Hi.
Stupendous.
Or just type Cath Webb anywhere in the world, apparently, into Google.
Okay.
Wow, Cath Webb.
Try it. Dare you.
Yeah. I'm going to do that. I'll upload this photo and see if Microsoft can recognise me in a TV.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Large head.
it's been fun.
It works. Cath Webb. Cath
Thanks,
Webb.
Robey.
It works. Cath Webb works.
See ya.
See you later.
Okay.